Boy, we have some Democrat primary for lieutenant governor shaping up here. There's five candidates now, and I've got one in studio with me, Xay Khamsyvoravong. I'm going to meet him in just a second. So there's Xay, there's Sue-Ann Dubois, Providence City Councilwoman, Cindy Coyne, former trooper, former state senator, Sabina Matos, the lieutenant governor, wants another bite at the apple, and Ross McCurdy, who I just think is just introducing himself to us. He's a science teacher, and he wants to be the lieutenant governor as well. So we'll have him in at some point. In the meantime, Xay Khamsyvoravong, councilman from Newport, is in with me. Thanks for coming overseas to be with us today.
Thanks for having me in, Gene. I appreciate it.
You went across the bridge.
2 bridges.
Yeah.
2.
Did you hit the speed bumps? People still complaining about that?
As fast as you can.
Yeah.
It helps make them smooth out a little bit.
Did you hear about the flock cams that the state police have put up on the Jamestown side? I'm hearing a little belly aching about that.
Starting to hear some griping about that, yeah.
What are you hearing about that? That people, they want their privacy invaded? I'm just coming and going. I have to snap my license plate every time?
Look, I think people are sensitive about surveillance, and that's an understandable thing, right? Yeah. A big part of our rights as Americans to enjoy our lives freely, unencumbered, and unmolested. And those flock cameras definitely are concerning when you consider whether or not the federal government can tap into them and whether you're being watched.
Yeah, I was just in Jamestown over the weekend, and they said, hey, you know, the state police put up these flock cams, and every time somebody on Jamestown comes and goes, that's the way they come and go, they're snapping their license plate. Be honest with you, there's one right on the corner here. Pontiac Avenue and Kenny, they catch me every night. I behave, so I'm not that worried. All right, let's go. You want to be the next lieutenant governor, you're a Democrat. Xay Khamsyvoravong, you've been a councilman in Newport, you've been the honorary mayor, right? The title of mayor there is bestowed upon someone. It's not a typical mayor with real power, correct?
That's correct.
All right, and you held that. Now, Sue-Ann Dubois, she is a councilwoman. She wants to be the transportation lieutenant governor. Cindy Coyne wants to be the I'll care for the elderly lieutenant governor. Sabina Matos wants to be I'll watch over greedy supermarkets lieutenant governor. Ross McCurdy, I don't know. If you get the job, what niche are you carving out?
Jobs. Jobs in the economy, specifically those jobs that we know we need to address shortages in order to ensure that Rhode Island families can live a good life here. So I'll give you 2 examples. Primary care. The state is 300 primary care physicians short. 1 in 4 are set to retire in the next 5 years. That means you're not going to be able to get an appointment with a doctor if you need one. That's why 1 in 3 of my peers don't have a primary care physician. That is part of what's driving up the expenses in the healthcare system. I want to make sure we have enough doctors. Second, in the trades, we know that the cost of construction is exceptionally high in the state. Part of the reason why is that we can't find tradespeople to actually build the housing that we need. I want to make sure that every kid that graduates from our school system is encouraged not only to graduate with an academic degree, but a certification in a technical skill set like the trades. Okay,
if you get the mantle of lieutenant governor, it gives you a bully pulpit. I'll have you on 10 News Conference, you'll hold the news, people will cover you. But apart from that, you have no mandate, you have no powers, you can't wave a magic wand and create doctors and create trades job. The lieutenant governor is basically, you're a placeholder. You wait for something to happen to the governor. We hope it never happens. But how would you make your wishes come true?
Well, you also have no encumbrances. You get to choose what you do every single day, and you should be doing things that help reaffirm people's faith. Yeah. That government actually works, that it's listening to them, that it cares. When I was mayor of Newport, that's exactly how I used that post, to bring in historic amounts of state and federal funding while lowering taxes for middle and working class residents. When I was on the council and Brown Health talked about closing the labor and delivery unit at our local hospital, we used that power to convene, to bring people together, to advocate, to make sure that system kept putting people over profits.
You had power to a degree as a councilman. You can horse trade, you can cajole, you can negotiate with your fellow council members to get things done. And I know you did, but this birthing center was a big issue in Newport. But as lieutenant governor, the jobs that were created for the office are all advisory. You're an advisory role to this, you're an advisory role to that. There's nothing there other than you could pick up the phone call and say, hey, could you do this for me? I mean, let's have an honest assessment here.
You get to be a major part of setting what the dialogue is about in this state, what we're actually focusing on as governor. Look, if I wanted to make laws, I'd be running for a seat in the state legislature. I'm not. I'm running specifically for a seat that gets to choose what it talks about every single day. This state's focus needs to be on the families that are here, the issues they're struggling with every single day, and how government should be working with the private sector to address those problems. That's an enormous power, and that bully pulpit is enormously powerful to direct that conversation.
It is a stepping stone to something else, either by misfortune or by earning your way there. Is that the ultimate goal? You want to be governor someday?
I've never posted up to wait for what the next option might be at any job I've ever had in my life. I've focused on using every position I've ever held, whether it's appointed or elected, to actually get things done. That's the only way you even start to build the case that voters should be considering you for something else in the future. So I'm not going to start picking out what that next thing might be until we do something effective to help reaffirm people's faith in government with this office.
Okay, Sabina's an incumbent. Apart from the scandal over the people she got to sign her petitions last time around and the failed run for Congress, why does she have to go? Like, give us a reason why the incumbent has to go.
I think we can do better. Look, I'm not running against Sabina Matos. I'm running for this office to actually do something with this office that I think will have substantive impact on people's bottom line every single day. We know that Rhode Island families are struggling. That office should be laser focused on moving the needle in a substantive way. That's why I think if we can address primary care in the state, if we make sure there's a very clear training pathway so people can earn a fair day's pay for a fair day's work with jobs that actually pay them a living wage, that is a higher and better use of that office.
So you're not going to go after Sabina for the voter registration scandal, or it was the signature scandal. You're not going to attack her on that? You're not going to say she's got to go for a whole host of reasons?
No, we're focused on the future. We're focused on what we should be doing moving forward as a state. There are plenty of problems we need to be working on and talking about. I don't think we need to be relitigating things from the past.
Well, how about if she goes after you and says, oh, Xay is a Newport councilman, young man in a hurry, maybe he's not ready for this job. Yeah, what if she goes after you? That's something that could be in the offing. You know, there's a buzz about you. You know, if I look at the other candidates here, there's a buzz about you, and maybe more so than the others.
Well, look, Gina, I'm thrilled anytime somebody can pronounce my entire name. So if it's
Khamsyvoravong.
getting into people's mouths, thank you so much for taking the time on that.
What first name is?
Xay, like sigh of relief, it's not the full name.
Right. It's not the full name.
No.
What is the full name?
The full first name is Xay Kham. My middle name is Rexford. My mother was a pediatrician in the area for a long time. Last name is Khamsyvoravong. And look, I know that most voters are never going to be able to pick out this name. It's so long it takes up 2 lines on the ballot, right? But what I do hope is that in the same way that when somebody goes into the doctor and they're looking for the best possible person to help them get better, that the voters, when they're making a decision about who the best person will be for this office, will say, I don't know if I can pronounce that guy's name either. I think he goes by Xay, and I trust him to get the job done.
Yeah, listen, it could be a positive for you.
I think
could
so.
Be a positive.
In
now,
Newport, it worked, right? In Newport, when I ran as a first-time candidate, we won by the largest margin in city history. Turns out they could pick it out on the ballot.
Listen, feather in your cap for that. What kind of a Democrat are you? You know, your party is being, there's a civil war going on in your party with these Democratic Socialists of America trying to drag it in a certain way. And I'm going to ask you, you could tell me what kind of a Democrat you are, and then I've got a follow-up question. Go ahead. Are you concerned about what's going on in your party?
I am. Look, I'm a common sense Democrat. I believe that we have to be talking to people about things that they care about in ways that they can relate to and say, that makes sense to me. That solution is straightforward. Why isn't government doing that? That's the work that I want to focus on doing. If you have to get so deep into policies that you have to explain to people how it's going to make their lives better, you've already lost the argument and you're not helping to make your party or your case any stronger.
There's a mayoral candidate in Providence the other day. He said, hello, brothers and sisters and my non-binary comrades. That was David Morales. Does that upset you when you hear the word comrades? Are you concerned about socialism in your party?
Look, you can get caught up in terminology and the silly things that people say on the campaign trail if you spend a lot of time with it. But I'll tell you this. Look, I have been able to live the American dream thanks to capitalism, have nearly a 2-decade career working in the private sector. That certainly shapes my faith in capitalism. But what it is underpinned by is my family knows what the alternative looks like. My father came here as a refugee from Laos, escaping war and communism. My family stood up fighting for democracy and ultimately got out by the skin of their teeth. He spent a year in a refugee camp and ultimately was sponsored by a church group that brought him here. And so I have seen what happens when socialistic ideas get corrupted and become communism. But I want to look at the flip side of that also. Democracy that isn't open to thought, that isn't open to listening people who you might disagree with, becomes fascism. And on the other side of my family, I've got a grandfather, served in the American Army in World War II, took a bullet fighting fascists. And so I'm going to keep open thought and bring everybody to the table to have that dialogue, even if I don't agree with them.
Well, I've asked all the candidates, Democrat and Republican, do you renounce socialism?
I'm not going to renounce anybody for their thoughts and their ideas. I don't agree with them.
I didn't ask you socialist. The theory of socialism, that is a practice of political philosophy. It almost sounded like you just did. You're certainly renouncing communism. You said your family escaped that. Do you renounce socialism?
No. And I'll tell you why, and I think I just clarified that, right? We have to be open to different thought in this country. That is part of what makes democracy work every day. And even if I don't agree with it, and I don't agree with socialism, I am a capitalist, I've built a career built on that, I've lived the American dream thanks to it, I'm not going to renounce people just because they have different thoughts and approaches to how we should solve problems.
It's a different question. Do you renounce socialism? Isn't do you renounce anybody who pretends to be a socialist? That's a person, that would be a person. You can love the sin. What is it? Love the sinner, hate the sin. All right. Well, listen, good luck to you. You've got
Thank
competition.
you.
Five of you now.
Well, the name will stand out on the ballot. I'll be the last one there and the longest one, so I hope that voters will give me a shot.
All right. Xay Khamsyvoravong, councilman from Newport, served as the mayor there, wants to be your next lieutenant governor. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much.
And thanks for coming overseas. Appreciate that.